You with the Longevity Channel. I'm Helen Hansen and I'm chatting with Mynie Grove. Hi Mynie, how are you?
Hello, Miss Helen. How are you and everybody else?
So pleased that you can join us today. I know that health and well-being from a holistic perspective is very, very close to your heart. So
Indeed.
let's just dive right in there and let me ask you, how are you? And you know, from a holistic health perspective, how has lockdown been treating you?
I was not scared of lockdown when it started. I went into it with my usual Pollyanna happiness and I can do this 3 weeks. That's all that I was worried about. Not even worried about. Just, no, we can do this. It's not difficult. And then when it got longer, and at a time that my year would normally have begun to start to be very busy, I started feeling my wheels getting flat. I don't know how else to say that. I could feel my engines were going slower and slower and slower, and in the end, I have to acknowledge that I started getting depressed. But depression is not something I fear because I'm always in charge. My mind um, supersedes any chemical imbalances that I may have, and I have a few, trust me. But yeah, I can get across that and over that because I just believe that we are given this amazing grey matter in our skulls. And what we feed it is what we experience. So when my wheels started getting flat, so to speak, I tried to literally, I am so grateful for everything. I'm grateful I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the walls. I'm grateful for the windows, the doors. I literally go into switching the small stuff, what I'm grateful for. And every time I had a negative thought, and that is also a habit that I've developed for me that works, is that the minute a negative thought starts taking root, I say hello and bye-bye. I replace it immediately with a positive thought, even a mantra, even anything that makes your corpuscles be happier. And for me, that is really just as simple as change what you're thinking about. Because what you think is what you feel.
Absolutely. And if there's a Vedic saying, I forgot exactly how it goes, but it talks about what you experience in your body today is where your mind was yesterday.
Yes.
Mm.
I have an anxious nature. I've always had, but it really started going. It started getting. It interferes with my being. I think a little bit of panic is good. If you need to do something, if there's a deadline, a little bit of panic and anxiety is good because it fires up your engines. It fires up mine. I love a challenge. I really love a challenge. But it must be, obviously, a challenge that I feel comfortable with. The minute you're given an unknown and you don't know how to deal with it, your coping mechanisms may not be sufficient. Luckily, mine were up to now, and even in the direst times when my anxiety strikes, I think what is known as pranic breathing. Breathe in for 3, hold for 6, exhale for 9, or 4 for 4. Breathing is, we learn that when we learn about childbirth, to all that, and then slowly, and it's exactly the same. We have such amazing natural tools to heal, to overcome a moment, to overcome pain, to overcome fear, anxiety, heartache, Although that's a little harder to deal with. I know that because I've been there. But yes, you can. You can find, there are pathways in our systems, our beautifully designed bodies, and we all have it, that help us from point A to point B. Even if we want to actually by now be at M, just take one day at a time, one step at a time.
That innate intelligence that we are designed with, and sometimes goes off center for whatever reason, stress, chronic.
And very often we are our ears are flapping for what everybody else is saying. Lately, we not only have that, we also have social media, and we so easily get sucked into a bad energy or a bad mindset or a fad or whatever. It doesn't matter. The secret is to actually just access the magic of you, of your creation. There's an original you that was born without fear, without racism, with joy, with goodness, with everything. And we can go back to that and tap into that and ask for it. You simply ask for it. And when you ask for it, you think clearly, you're thinking of it. And when you think of it, you get closer to it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I want to just touch on something you mentioned just now. I'm very interested to hear your experience or opinion on social media and stress. Have you had any experience where social media has affected you either way?
When lockdown started, and of course, sometimes we battle to sleep at night. So what do I do now? And I'm never used to do that. I grab my phone and I've stuffed up my eyes.
Oh, really?
I've stuffed up my eyes. My eyes have gone weaker since I've started to do my nighttime, little surf on Twitter or Instagram. But the good thing about that is that during that time of night, it's not Twitter and Instagram, they're not that busy because we are in different time zones. But yes, I have definitely during lockdown and times where I felt sleeping was bugging me or was evading me, I was definitely more active on my phone than normal.
Well, interesting you mentioned the eye, because I've been having so many clients recently with eye issues.
Sure.
Anything that you've done that's worked for you that you can share with the viewers in terms of supporting eye health?
The biggest thing I need to do, I have put the blue light on my phone to very low. So during the night, and I always switch a light on so that I don't only have the blue lights on. And I think one must really be mindful because we're working with blue lights, the digital light all the time, and it's so unhealthy on various levels. So to limit your time on your screens of any and all kinds, and to eat healthy and to wear sunglasses. And I don't need reading glasses yet, and I am of an age, so I'm very lucky about that. Sometimes if the print is too small, then I have to put on those shop things.
Yes,
or I use a magnifying glass. But mostly for me, I'm short-sighted, so I need glasses for driving and for watching TV.
Okay.
But it's important. These things are so magical, and we have to look after them. And walking, of course, is another thing, because it's all about circulation. The more you walk, the more you stimulate circulation to your eyes. Because one of the things that people forget is when they have sugar. And I don't. Luckily, I'm not a sugar sufferer. But when people have sugar, they forget your blood becomes like syrup, and it cannot get to the small capillaries in your eyes and in your extremities. And that's why people lose limbs and why they go blind with diabetes. And as we know, that's the sickness that we don't know we have. So it's always important to check your sugar.
Thank you for that reminder. So valuable, especially at this time where it's so easy to comfort eat, and
Yes,
to remember that if you do that, and even if you don't, to hydrate liquid, good water though, good water
yes,
going to help not only with the eyes, but as you say, circulation and
yes,
all the rest of the functioning of one's system. And
yes. This stuff is very important. Yes, it's so important. I don't even drink filtered water. I drink ordinary tap water because I believe it's good for my immune. That's my averse version. And I just believe that we don't hydrate enough. I don't. No, I don't.
And especially again, getting back to the screens, it that dehydrates us. So if
Yes,
our bodies need X amount of, and everybody's body is different. So if your body needs X amount during a day, generally for your BMI, etc., you will need more if you are on devices. And just the one thing that keeps on coming up again and again and again in sessions, whether it's about eye health or anxiety or not being able to sleep, etc., rest during the times that you are awake. Don't only use resting for when you're sleeping, but to be able
so important.
to just sit outside and be calm and do nothing.
It is so important to be okay with doing nothing. I grew up in a home where when you do nothing, ledigheid is die duivelse oorkussing, which literally translated means when you have nothing to do, you get up to nonsense. Not true in this day and age. Um, Perhaps for a 5-year-old, and I only get out of hand when it's full moon, and yeah. But yeah, for me, it's important that people know to literally sit and breathe and be conscious of where you are, your surroundings, that you breathe. We wake up in the mornings and we are so lackadaisical with saying thank you for the breath. This is not an obvious thing to have, and especially in time of COVID. Your breathing, your lungs, your whole system, obviously your immune system, but your lungs and your lung health, sunshine is so important, and that it's okay for us to not work. It's okay for us to sit and take a moment and just be.
Mm, mm. Beautiful. Yes. So simple, so powerful, and
Yeah.
actually very challenging for a lot of people. And understandably so, especially during this time. But it's refreshing to know that our healing tools are here. One
Yes.
doesn't need to pay a fortune. You can, but you don't need to heal yourself. But it starts,
Oh,
as you mentioned right in the beginning, you've got the wiring and the headspace to bring yourself back to center. And I know you've got a really valuable exercise tool that people can use during this time to help bring their mindset back to center.
yes.
We're going to be sharing this in our 7-day longevity challenge coming up, starting on the 2nd of September. So
Lovely.
yes, I just encourage everybody to join that. It's on a Facebook group, 7-day longevity challenge, and look forward to sharing it there. But in closing, words of inspiration at this time, and just in general going forward.
So this is a great time to figure out what makes your heart sing. What is your sweet spot? What gives you joy when you were a little person, when you were a child, before life started happening to you? This is a beautiful, I almost want to say message that I want to give to people. I got it from Yodia Sampson, who's an actress. She also does a lot of community work. That says, who were you before life started in your life? Before you became a grown-up, in other words. What did you do that made you happy? Try and access that. Try and recall those memories and walk through them, live through them. Make a movie in your mind of how you felt. Never mind the people who came afterwards, or people shouting in your ear, people wanting you to be somebody that they want you to be, and you're not living your true, genuine self. And that is my wish for everyone who is full of anxiety and fear in this time, is the fact that you breathe is such a wonderful, wonderful gift, but it comes with responsibility, first and foremost to yourself. Because if you don't function, if you don't feel comfortable in your skin, comfortable in who you are, comfortable in what you bring to society, if you have one skill or 900, you contribute to society. And the magical thing about that is that only you can figure that out. Nobody can do it for you. And here is beautiful time to recalibrate, to reset your bits, and to access that which is important to you, and that gives you joy. You have to find joy. Our purpose in life is to be joyful. That's how I see it.
Beautifully put. Our purpose in life is to be joyful. Find your sweet spot.
Goes for everybody.
And use this time wisely. Thank you for that inspiration. And I trust that you too will continue to live in your sweet spot.
Have to. It's not debatable.
It's been a good reminder for me too. Thank you so much, Mynie.
Yes, Helen. Thank you, and thank you for being an amazing person, and thank you for this invite. It's a privilege. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mynie. Be well. Be blessed.
You too. You too.